Looks like we are live. Welcome to the stream.
Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Okay. Can't repeat. Come here, baby. Actually, let's do it from the side right here. Stay. Stay here, baby. Okay, welcome to the stream. It is a beautiful Monday morning. Just beautiful weather here in Salt Lake. We have Millie here. She's an older Newfy. She has a little bit of arthritis. We're going to try to not let her jump down or worry about jumping up or lifting her legs or do anything like that too much. We should try to take it nice and easy. She's getting a bath and brush service, so we're going to bathe her, clean her ears, shave her sanitary, and then check for any mats to see if we need to brush those out before we give her a bath. So let's get started with that. I'm going to go ahead and do her pads first. Using a number 10 blade. I don't want to have to bend over too much, so I'm going to try to lift the table up while I put one hand on. Sometimes if the table starts shaking and they get scared, they'll try to jump off the table. That could be really dangerous, especially for these big dogs, so try to keep a hand on them. Can I see this foot? Come here, Billy. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Good girl. Okay. That's a good girl. Good job. She's doing great. She's a little reluctant to pick up the second back foot. Super easy. Okay. Out. Good girl. Okay. I'm gonna actually put my elbow underneath her belly to give her some extra support. Where she's older and has arthritis, I don't want her to have all of her weight on her opposite leg. It's a little hard to see. Wait. Like this. Just can't see quite good enough. There we go. Up. Up. Come on. She's like, I don't want you to lift my foot. Come on, baby. Come here, baby. Good girl. Good girl. shaving the pads, we always stay in this V shape, following, matching the top big pad. You never want to do an X, where your blade goes between the toes. If you were to come too far down, you'd get between the bottom toe. Shave the top, shave the bottom, switch to the other side of the V, shave the top, shave the bottom. Check her bum. Before I do that though, I'm going to check her ears. See if we need to shave anything on the inside of her ears. She is a sweet old girl. You can see she's got a big drool ball coming down. Okay. Anytime you're shaving the sani on these full-coated dogs, the goal is to just create a patch. So I'm noticing she's a little bit less stable on her back right leg. She can pick up her back right leg and stand on the left one just fine. But when I pick up the left leg, she's a little or ankle. One of those would probably bother her a little bit more than on her left side. I'll try to work from underneath like this. Try to avoid picking up that foot if I can. She's got some big tangles back here. And they're in a okay. Now we'll do her nails. Come here, good girl. Come here. Good job. Okay. Good job, baby. You're okay. Yeah, she's having just a little bit of a hard time having one foot off the ground. It's probably just due to her age and having a little bit of arthritis. being super patient for actually cutting her nails. Good job, Millie. Good job. Hang on. Good job. Good job. Okay, I'm going to bring the table up just a little bit more because I'm going to try to support her weight and turn my back to bend over. I don't like having big dogs this high on the table normally, but I need to make sure that I can support her weight while I do these back legs. Okay. Good job, baby. That one's done. Those were the hardest for her to lift up. We got this front foot. I think we got one more. I'm gonna bring this table down a little bit. Try to do it very slowly. Okay, good for now. If you want to know how to do the dogs, if you want to know how to cut dogs' nails yourself at home, I do have a video that I created. If you're watching live, you can just search for it. It's cutting dog nails perfect every time. If you're right there. I think I already got these nails. But I didn't get this one as short as I can. Okay, cool. So we're all done with the nails. Butt feathers, or her bum back here. The front ones feel like they're okay. I don't feel any mats under her ears. One right here. I think we can cut this one out. Be a little careful. You can't just cut straight through the mats. You have to make sure that you get underneath the mat. Sometimes, in rare cases, the skin will actually get pulled up into the mat. And if you were to just cut the whole mat off, then you'd cut off skin as well. These mats under the ears are good ones to just cut off, as well as if they were mats in the armpits. These spots have a tendency to get really tangled up in general, and if you could just remove some of the hair there, it's less likely to mat up in the future. So I usually cut the armpits, and I usually cut behind the ears. It looks like she does have some in her armpits. Blade. leg needs oil. Okay, Millie. Okay, there it is. There we go. Okay. Got those out on this side. Now we'll check the other side. Usually if there's tangles in one armpit, there's tangles in both. I think I'll just worry about that after. Okay, now let's get the big ones for thumb. I'm going to start with a mat rake and some detangling spray. I got to bust these things up before I can brush them out. The goal is to get this mat rake underneath the mat and then use the little saw blades to cut through into much smaller mats, and then I can brush out those little mats with my slicker brush. Under that mat, the big one, and I'm just trying to saw through it, split it up into small mats so that I can more easily brush that out. Girl. She's being really patient for this. Kind of leaning off the edge. Good. There you go. Looks like we're through most of this mat, a little bit more from this other direction. Okay, that'll all brush out easily now. The reason you want to get these mats, and they can't get underneath them very easily either. So if you try to wash the mats, the hair doesn't come clean, and it also has a tendency when you wet a mat and then dry it, the mats and the knots often shrink. Take a step forward now. Good girl. Good girl. patient. A lot of dogs will really squirm and try to sit on you and get away from you when you're brushing out their back end. She's just so patient, just tolerating all of it, not giving me any fuss. Such a good girl. Can't do that. You gotta stay here. Now, anytime you're brushing on the inside of the dog's legs back here, it's a really vulnerable spot. So instinctually, you know, they don't want to leave themselves vulnerable. So it just goes to show what a sweet girl. Okay, almost through. Okay, now we will run my brush through, get a little bit more detangling spray. Make sure that we get these mats all the way out before we give her a bath. Good girl. Okay, got them all done. Check her tail. Usually the base of the tail right here is the worst, and she doesn't have any, so. Okay, good girl. Let's cut off some of this extra hair. A bit of this, so I can not bait some of it. It's really easy to waste time doing this and to be inefficient, because I'll have to go over everything again. None of this will be able to be finished before the bath, but I can have. Okay. Alright, that'll do for now. Okay, we're going to bring the table down. Nice and slow, hopefully. Sometimes this table drops a little faster than I want it to. And it's just when I put too much pressure on the foot pedal too quickly. Okay, I'm going to get the back camera on, so bear with me there. Let's go, big girl. Good job. Okay. Takes even longer to dry her. So we'll spend quite a bit of time back there. So I'm just gonna try to get a nice drink before we go. Okay, let's head to the bathing room. All right, Millie. 1, 2. Good girl. Thank you for the help, baby. Thank you for the help. Okay, stay inside. I push her towards the wall and she's leaning into me really hard, so I have to get underneath, pick her up. Good girl. It's really natural for dogs to lean into pressure like that. So I changed the dynamic and I actually just lift up. She can't lean into me lifting up. She can only put her weight down. And she probably does do that. And then she just ends up standing right where I want her. Warmed up first. After the water's warmed up, I'm going to wash her body. Make sure to get her pads, her bum, her sani, and we're gonna wash her with the D-Shed shampoo, her face after. So let's get the water warmed up. And to sit down, I'm going to try to do everything I can with her sitting down first before I ask her to stand up. And then when she's up, I'm going to try to get everything else that I couldn't get before. Let's go. Good girl. Normally I would turn the dogs around instead of working over the top of them, trying to get this other side, but where it's hard for her to move as much, I'm going to try to not turn her around if I can avoid it. Now I just need her to scoot forward so I can get these back. One last thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to wash her bum by hand, just to make sure. Good job, baby. Okay, now let's do the conditioner. Basically just repeat the same process. Okay, our body is washed, the conditioner is applied. We're going to go put the bathing system to rinse mode. I'm going to get her face wet, pre-rinse her face, and then I will wash her face with this pre-mixed de-shed shampoo and conditioner is doing its magic on her body, and then we'll rinse the rest of her off after her face is all done. Let's get to it. Low pressure with her face, and I'm going to try to avoid getting water in her ears and her nose. It's okay if the water gets in her eyes at the low pressure, but high pressure you'd also want to avoid the eyes as well. So this is high. I'm going to turn it down. you're washing the dog by hand, you want to apply as much soap as it takes to get the hair to lather, and the water will strip off of the hair really quickly. In that case, you need to add more water and then more soap. Hold still. Hold still. Good girl. Okay, her ears are really greasy, so I'm going to try to make sure that I scrub them super well and that everything lathers up really well. If it doesn't lather, then it's not clean, and you need to keep scrubbing at it and add more soap. Maybe behind and underneath. It's all from her ears. Her ears, just the normal wax that comes out of them is just kind of clung to all the hair, so I don't have to work really hard to make sure that all comes out. Sweetheart. Good job. And we'll come back, finish her muzzle. To apply the soap all over their face, but it's just kind of dripping right off of her face and not soaking in. So her fur is kind of hydrophobic in that way. I'm just a dog groomer, people. Hey, girl. We're almost out of soap, so I'll have to mix up some more. And I actually need to get her face wet again. Get her chin real quick. Come here. Come here. You're okay. Now, come here, Millie. It's alright, baby. Okay, so the top of her head is about done. Her muzzle, I think her cheeks both need a little bit more, but I need to refill this soap. Okay, now that we got more soap, I'm going to get her face wet again. I'm going to do her cheeks and the right side of her head and her ears. Come here. Really scrubbing the inside of these ears, making sure not to get any soap in the ear canal itself. She just got really greasy ears, so we want to make sure that all gets really clean. Now we'll rinse her face off. And I'm going to make sure to rinse out her eyes. I don't believe I got any soap in there, but it's really difficult to tell. So you always rinse out the eyes as if you got soap in them. We get leaving soap in the eyes. We're going to do one half of her head at a time. So this side, pretty easy with her ears. They're floppy, so it's easy to hold them down. Good girl. And I'm trying to make sure the water doesn't run down her face and over her nose. And you know what? Her head still feels greasy. Her ears do anyways. So I'm gonna just rewash all of this again. It lathers up much easier the second time you wash it, and that's because it's a lot cleaner. But she still has just a little bit of greasiness in her head and her ears that I don't like, so I'm gonna try to make sure she gets really clean. Good girl. Good girl. Nice low water pressure. Girl. bumming her sandy rinse, but she's right against the edge and I can't do anything there. So I'm gonna try to pick her up, put her back over here. Good. Good girl. Remember when that's how I'm actually able to get her to stay over there. Okay, now you just gotta get the pads of her feet. Good girl. Okay. Alright, final step. As part of the breathe, I'm going to look for bubbles. And if I see bubbles, then I'll re-rinse that spot. It looks like she has some dandruff. You look closely, there's little black spots. That's a lot what lice looks like. So I was double checking to make sure that there was no legs, none of them are moving. It looks like this is just dandruff, which is normal for older dogs. You did a good job. Okay, now I'm going to take my big towel. And we'll towel dry her, we'll get her all toweled off. Heavy dogs, make sure you use good technique. You don't want to twist. Once you have the dog picked up or with the heavy weight, you want to move with your feet and then walk straight. You don't want to twist when you're carrying a heavy load. We'll just take this leash with us. I'm going to put one hand under her chest, between her legs, head up, chest up, and I'm going to lift her up and then go over there. 1, 2, 3. Good girl. Oh no. Her leg got a little caught. Okay. Come on. She's leaning. Really hard. She wants to jump off the table. You got to be aware that her body position, you probably can't tell on the camera, but she's leaning forward and off the table if they're leaning really far forward like that. And I bet the reason why she was leaning like that is because of all the pressure that I was pushing. Replace her and go. Okay, now we're going to towel dry her off. I like to start with the face. And as my towel gets wet, soaked, or she is got the majority of the water off of her and no more is coming off. Good girl. I'm doing really big movements right now, but she's a little unstable, so I'm leaning my body up against her to make sure that she doesn't get pushed off. And you want to try to do with the older dogs is just make sure that they don't lose their balance, because it's easy for them to do, and then you just make them work a lot harder than they need to as well. You don't want it to be a hard experience. dry spots over here. So with her type of fur, how it's hydrophobic, the water will shed off of her really easy. It's challenging in the bath when I'm trying to wash her face, but it's actually quite beneficial for drying because a lot of the water is just shedding itself off because of the way that her fur interacts with it. Okay. Okay. She's all toweled off. Toss this in the washer. Get the hair off my hands, put my headphones in real quick. Oh, missed the little hair when we cleaned on Friday. So these earbuds, but they also reduce the decibels quite a bit, so they work like earplugs. I'm going to try to stick 2 of them in on each side, see if it fits. And it does. Let me close this up. Good girl. Okay, I'm going to use both blow dryers. Millie's really good at this. I can. If I need to, I'll turn one off and I'll keep one hand on her. And we'll probably finish like her tail, her feet with one hand. And then I will turn the blow dryer down to a low pressure and that's when we'll finish her face. I'm not going to talk to you during the process because you can't hear me anyway. So let's get it going. One more step. Let's keep the hair off my face. I'm doing things a little out of order because she wants to sit down. She's older. I'm going to let her sit. I've got this side mostly dry. I'm going to do her face, and then I'll turn her around. Older, has a hard time with some arthritis, and she was leaning off the table earlier. When I first put her on this table, I'm going to use both hands to try. Just turn around. Come here, baby. Come here. Good girl. Good girl. The table's shaking, so I'm just leaning against it to try to get it stable. And once it's stable, usually they'll calm down and they'll stop feeling unstable, so they'll stop shaking as much. So a good call that I turned the dryer off because I definitely needed both hands to get her turned around. All right, now we're just gonna We did it! We did it! Yeah! Good job, Millie. Ah. Okay. All right, let's get back up front and we will finish her up. Good girl. Whew. It's always a lot when you have to blow dry a big dog like this. Okay, big girl. Uh-oh. We don't have any leashes. Come on, Millie. This way. Good girl. You want this? Good girl. Yes, you did so good back there. Uh-oh. Not yet. Let's save for that. Okay, come here. Woo! I gotta weigh her. She's a big girl. One more treat, because you're such a good girl. So the next steps to finish her groom are going to be to spray her whole body with the leave-ins on her tail, bum, legs, feet, belly, and ears. We'll do this half first. Put a dandruff on her back right here. There's not much you can do about that besides just doing your best during the bath to get off as much as you can. Okay, looks like this half is done. Let's go ahead and get her tail. That is very typical for these breeds. Oh, don't knock my Straight down. They'll have a big old glob of drool hanging down, and then they shake their head, and it flips up on me or off of her. Tail's in great shape. There really weren't any tangles. Just impacted coat. The soft undercoat that sheds out hasn't fallen with her. Okay, let's put the spray over here. Bring the table up a little bit. Is that better? I'm sorry, Millie. Get a little ahead of myself sometimes. Such a sweetheart. They're not resisting and trying to get away from everything, especially when they get old. That is just one of the hardest situations to deal with. If eventually walking towards the edge and almost falling off, it's scary and it's really hard to deal with. Yeah, she wants to be a good girl and do everything I want. Although there's a few things that she didn't like. Yeah. Sorry if it's a little laggy on the stream. My internet is being slow apparently. Okay, her body is just about done. We're going to do her chest, and then we'll do her head and her ears. But I'm encountering a few tangles under her ear right here. Sounds real scratchy. You hear once the tangles are gone, it'll be quiet again. Get underneath the leash. Okay, chin up. On their neck, it's difficult to get it flat and brushed out evenly if their head's down. Okay, we are good underneath the leash. Go ahead and put it back up. Now I'll get her chest. And then she'll be all done being brushed. Put a little more spray in her armpits. And then I brush on the side of the leg, right in the armpit. That'll help you get everything. You can hear it scratching through some tangles on the leg side. Right on the back of the leg by this elbow, there's some that they're not wanting to come out. There we go. Okay, let's go back over the belly, right in this armpit. A few more. You hear it. I'm going to pick her leg up just to make sure I can separate this. Okay, now there's just a little bit behind on her belly back here now. The other side, same thing. Come under the belly. There. Stay. It's okay. Okay. Elbow feels good. Let's get back in the armpit. Up, up. Let's brush on the leg. There we go. There we go. Coming out. There's just a little bit on the belly. Now we're going to lift her up. We're going to start with her feet. We're going to get the bottom of her feet rounded first. And then I'll come to the top of the foot, to the bottom of the foot first. Everything that comes below the pads gets cut. I'm brushing everything out to the side. Everything that comes out past the side of the foot gets cut. And I'm rounding the foot right here. And I blend in between the toes to the rest of the foot. The hair always grows longer between the toes for some reason. Pick the foot up and round it from this way. The leg. We're going to blend in the back of the leg and make it the same length as the front of the leg. Now we'll come to the ankle joint, part of the back leg feathering, or the butt feathering. We're going to get them blended into the ankle. Come back to her other feet. Push her a little forward. She's just really close to this back edge and I don't like it, so. Okay, we'll do the same thing. We'll start from the bottom of this back leg. This is the one she was having a hard time standing with, so I'm actually going to start with. This is a little slower, not as efficient, but I just want to make sure that, and it might not be that she's having a hard time lifting this leg as much as putting the weight on her other leg. The top's looking good. Now we'll get the bottom. And I'm going to make sure that I support her weight with my left elbow. up. Pads gets trimmed. Now from this angle so I can see it a little bit better. Up. Up. Good girl. Elbow and shoulder right now. And I'm okay with that. Okay, now I'm gonna round it. Actually, this up. Get all the hair between the toes, even with the rest of the foot. Stay. Okay, now that the top of the foot's looking good, we get inside back here, just a little spot, and blend it in with the sides and the front of the leg. Just get these last couple hairs. I'm able to only partially lift it and get the spot. So that's good. Hang on. Good girl. Okay, and we'll blend in the ankle to the top half of the leg. Okay, and we'll save the rest of that for blending the legs. You want to sit? You want to sit? Come on. Okay, good girl. Got that bottom all done. Now we'll brush everything outside of the sit. Okay. Alright, now just like on the back leg, we're going to trim the below the ankle. We're going to stay. She keeps walking back. Step forward. Okay. Last foot. Lift it up for me. Well, go ahead and get the bottom pads, it's trimmed. You want to make sure you get all the hairs between the toes, on the side of the foot, just above the pad. Okay, while our foot's up, I'm going to try to brush everything down, round it from the top side. Alright, now we'll brush everything to the outside and we'll round it from the top. Stay. good. Let's go ahead and get the back, everything below the ankle. Up to the back of the legs, and I'm going to use my comb in back, and it's going to be blended down into where the ankle is nice and short, the blade of the fan. Now we'll come to the outside. Okay, inside. Come here. Come here, baby. Good. See if I can get your legs separated just a little bit. Stay. The side, the back, inside, and I'll trim all the hairs until it's biggest in the middle, and then it'll tighten up again at the top. Good girl. This inside, over here, get it a little bit better. Legs looking good. I'll go ahead and blend these legs into the chest. Okay, her right leg is quite a bit longer than her left, so I'm going to trim this right leg. Okay, front legs are good. Cheek across towards the other cheek. Everything comes past the middle, gets blended out. Everything that comes out past the side over here. Towards this back wall. From the inside and the outside. Looks like there's a little on the outside as well. Okay, leg looks good. A little more blending right at the top. I'll go ahead and do this other leg first. And it's going to be a lot of the same area. pretty good. Put it down on each side. Taking a little bit more right off the base, just to have a nice clean potty path. Okay. Not until it grows out a bit at least. And now we're just going to do another. Now we'll come up to the front of these legs and we'll catch the inside. Looks like there's a few hairs that are a little long. And now we'll blend it into. Stay, wait. And that really is the trick to doing these dogs, their haircuts anyways, is to bleed it. And that helps me know how short to take it is because it's just blending into that previous spot. So it's important that you do this order and you work your way from the bottom up in order to know how much to take off. Looks like my next the audio, and we'll be back in just a moment. Good morning. Okay. Okay. Looking good. Now we're going to come up to her chest. Okay, you're okay. Alright. Alright, now we just gotta do her neck and her ears. I'm going to loosen the leash, try to walk off the edge. neck. Now we'll comb her ears down, and behind her ears. Give all that a little trim. Drill on the comb. You're such a drill monster, Millie. Yes, Judy baby. Okay. There's a little spot under her neck. All of this hair down and out. Alright, last thing we're going to do is just clean her ears, and then she'll be all done. Looks like her ears are pretty dirty. Makes sense with how much we had to rewash them. Between all the folds and crevices, trying to get the cleaner into each. The nastiness. Here's the second one. Oh, just kidding. Let's do a little bit of trimming. She's got hairs that are growing right in front of her eyes. Just gonna trim those up. Sit. Hang. Hang. Okay. There we go. Girl. Stick. One and three. Girl. Good girl. Okay, and that's the end of a few minutes. Then I'll be back and we'll get started on Kaiser, the schnauzer.